Good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Tuesday, and we're off to the races once again. Before you crack that door today, keep in mind of what the temperature is. It's 32 degrees outside this morning. Very, very chilly, so you'll need a heavy coat as you'll head off. You can drop it later. We'll get a high of about 67 today. So warmer weather later, but very cold starting it off. So plan for that as you go out. Warm your car up. I noticed a lot of frost on my walk to work this morning. I was bundled up. I'm not going to lie about it. Hope you're feeling well. Had a cup of coffee, whatever it takes to get you going. Some folks are stuck more on the soft drink side of caffeines to get their day started. Pick yours. I'm on that coffee side. Do hope you're feeling well, though. We'll go over all the things that have gone on in the Meridian area over the last, say 24 hours. Robberies, car chases. Boy, there's been a few. Lots to talk about this morning on the morning show beginning at 8 o'clock. I hope you'll be a part of it. Right now it's time to go out to Collinsville. Let's head out to the Baptist church there, the First Baptist Church. Brother Paul Sizemore is here to talk this morning. He's going to talk to us about influence. Let's join him now.
I read a report last week that said famous soccer player Cristiano Ronaldo made $83 million last year from Instagram alone because he has so many followers. Wow, that's a lot of influence. Jesus said in Matthew 13:33, the kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into a large amount of flour until it worked all through the dough. He's talking about the kind of influence yeast has when it's added to a batch of dough. It influences or affects every part it comes in contact with from the inside out. Jesus compares the influence that yeast has on dough to the influence the kingdom of heaven has in the world. God has a purpose in the world, and it's for His kingdom to influence and permeate everything it comes in contact with. He accomplishes this through the spreading of the gospel and the invitation for people to repent of sin and have salvation through His Son, Jesus Christ. God calls all Christians to be influencers for His kingdom. Let's join Him in the fulfillment of His purpose and rejoice in the ever-expanding reach of that kingdom. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Hope you enjoyed that message, and it is all about influence. As you're waking up, if you've got to go east out of Meridian, maybe you live on the Bama side of things, you're going to get into a little bit of fog as you get around Utah, Alabama, right past Bology and those areas there. Let's pull up Meridian Honda radar and show you what we've got this morning as you come out of Meridian 5920. And as I said, as you make it over near Utah and those areas there into Tuscaloosa, look at all the fog that's in that area this morning. Uniontown, Alabama, y'all be careful. Those areas there, we want you to be careful. Watch the fog. There's a slight chance between now and 8 o'clock that we'll have a little bit in the Meridian area, but nothing showing on radar at this point. Always a chance in the low-lying areas that doesn't pick up. Our big concern on the west side, west of Alabama, back over our way in Mississippi, is the frost. It's a lot. Warm that car up, if you can, where you live, to where you'll be able to see. I know each and every one of us has had to look through that little bitty hole that you got there that you can barely peek through when you're running late. Try to plan ahead. It doesn't always work that way, but we do our best some days, don't we? Boy, let's see what's going on here. We've had a lot happen in the last 24 hours as the Meridian Police Department are looking for two suspects. We had a bank robbed and then another business that used to be Money Now, both in the same area off of 8th Street yesterday. Now, this is the subject that is a suspect in the second robbery of the old Money Now. If you're going down 8th Street where Mr. Discount used to be there at 45th, if you were to take a right in that general area there, if you were going to go on up toward Highland Park area on the right-hand side of the road, is where that robbery took place. This is what the gentleman looked like. Again, suspect, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But if you'll notice here, these pictures, let's pull this up and move across. As you can see in here, there's the gun. Wanted what he wanted, walked away with cash and undetermined amount. Most likely some form of 9mm, 45 or 40 caliber. Green in color is what he was told. And I've had several people tell me the name of that suspect of who they believe that is. went by the street name Knowledge. We'll talk more about this coming up this morning as we move into this and discuss how all this happened yesterday. A busy day for the Meridian Police Department on Law Enforcement Day, where it should have been a more laid-back day. It really took on heavy Law Enforcement Day. Here's a second picture. We'll show video of this during the morning show today. Here's the scene of Meridian Mutual as it was robbed first yesterday. The suspect would enter the bank, jump over the counter, wearing a mask, camouflage, cut-off breeches, come out this door, run down the street. He was actually followed by someone. They gave a description. He ran a couple of blocks, then jumped into a small gray SUV and fled the scene. That's what we know at this point. Now, when you move into banks, this moves into a higher caliber of punishment, so to speak. It does. FBI and all of those get involved when a bank is robbed. So this person has serious charges against him. But we'll go into all of this, and we'll look at the video of everything that went on yesterday with these two cases. That it's a rarity that we actually have armed robbery in Meridian. Very seldom. And then to have two in one day, it's kind of scary. So it tells us in all areas over the next few days to be a little extra cautious. Let's word it that way. Whether you're in the county or in the city, just be extra cautious of what you do. We don't want a repeat of this. Almost like to have meetings or something and go for this. I mean, what are the odds? Within a mile of each other, two robberies. Now, the police say they're not connected, but as we all know, things come in pairs. Copycats, however you want to word it. Maybe that's a better word for what I'm trying to say. I guess you could say it's somebody wanting something for nothing, isn't it? Not wanting to work for it. That's true. As we look at that, and that's what they don't want to do is work. As we look at, let me refresh this. We had a major fire last night. Out in the Long Creek area, let's look at this. And let me pull this up. As you can see this right here, this is the fire that took place. A home was destroyed last night. Long Creek battled that. It was fully engulfed when they arrived on scene. And we'll pull that to a bigger picture during the morning show. To my knowledge, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, that the home was empty when that happened. That's the good news to that story. It's never good to talk about a home being burned, is it? No, it's not. Regardless of what happened in the situation, we worry about folks. There was a car chase last night. Oh, you betcha. Turned into a foot chase. Now, to my knowledge, person's still running. I don't believe the Meridian Police Department were able to apprehend them. This all happened out on a traffic stop. Tried to go. He ran a stop sign on 5th Street. Next thing you know, it was a car chase that pursued. He jumped out, as you can see there. It happened on Oakland Park Street. And on foot, he ran, leaving behind, of course, evidence of who he is regardless. You can't hardly leave your car without some form of identification in it. But I guess it boils down to whatever it is that you've got on you, the threat of being caught is worse than staying there and taking your punishment, so you run. Whatever he had, he took. Hopefully we get more on that. We mourn this morning as we found out that there's been a loss of life in Newton County, as we pull this up and see that a Newton County high school student has died in an auto wreck. It was a single vehicle accident. It was a 17-year-old Marquez Poole lost control of a vehicle and slid off the road in Newton on Pine Bluff Road. Prayers to the family and all of those friends of his. Tragedy. 17 years old, your whole life ahead of you. Taken just like that. Doesn't matter your age, it all can happen just like that, can it? We pass along condolences to fellow students and family members on that. Horrible there. We see that Meridian High School has named a new head football coach, Marcus Boyles. We wish the best of luck on that and hope the Wildcats will have a winning season. Hope that will be great for them. Also, as everything was going on yesterday, there was a fire yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to see this, or maybe you heard the fire truck screaming by. This would have been over at Burger King there. It was a small fire on the inside. It was quickly put out. It wasn't anything major, but it filled the place with smoke. Kind of deterred things for a few moments there, right before lunch. No one hurt, thank goodness. That's what it all amounted to. You know, some things just go on, and you wonder how and what, and as people don't want to show up for work, an employer was getting on their employee for, well, not showing up for work on time, missing too much work. She pulled a gun on the employer. Family Dollar. Yeah, we'll just leave that story at that. It makes you shake your head as to what people are thinking. Verona, Mississippi. We've all heard of it once or twice before. A 19-year-old was a victim of a shooting that happened there. Police are investigating that and a loss of life. Now, this next story that I'm going to tell you about, I'm not sure if you're aware of what went on with this, but there was a hostage situation in Jonesville, Mississippi yesterday. 2 children died, a 9-year-old and a 1-year-old. Police are still unsure at this point, when I was reading up on all this morning, as to why or what reason it happened. One child was rescued from the residence. 2 other people, children, 9 and 1, lost their lives in that. We don't know who or what or why. Hopefully some answers will come out of this, and we'll know a little bit more about it before too long. Jackson, Mississippi, a teenager, I think around 15 years old, and a 2-year-old were injured. I'm not going to shock you when I tell you it was a shooting. They were crossing the street and they were shot. It's being investigated. Possibility of other things that went on. Pike County, Mississippi. Can't go impersonating a police officer. Our friends at Dark Horse pass along this picture to this. Impersonating a police officer. The vehicle was full of all types of things that would lead you to believe fake badges, sirens, and things of that nature. Let's hope that nothing has ever really happened before. And that's bad. It is. On the state level, as we look at offices, and I'm almost kind of shocked over this because I truly saw a bigger office. Maybe it's later. Shad White has announced that he will seek reelection as state auditor. I was really expecting it to be something bigger. A lieutenant governor, or maybe on to be governor. Maybe he's happy where he is. We'll see. But there was a rumble about that they may happen, and it just didn't materialize on that. Interesting, though. Macon, Mississippi. Boy, this is going to be tough on y'all as we see small towns. Every day we know this. I've been through Macon, Mississippi many, many times. You're losing your building supply company. It's closing its doors since, 1939 that it's been there? The new home building stores are closing those locations. Now, they'll still have locations in Columbus, but Macon will no longer have an outlet for lumber. Hate to see that happen. We've seen it all around, though. We have somebody in Louisiana who is trying to act like she was a doctor. Okay, she made up the whole thing. She was faking to be a dermatologist. She's been arrested. That's just bad, isn't it? I was in shock last night. Were you? I posted this as we see that Diamond and Silk. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? Diamond, Silk, kind of made famous from Donald Trump as they often spoke for him. They had talk shows. 51 years old, Diamond passed away unexpectedly. Hopefully we'll find out later today what that was about. Maybe it may take a couple of days, but that is horrifying. We pass condolences to them. The duo. I'm not sure if Silk will continue. Sisters, if I am not mistaken, weren't they? LaWanda says Shad has her vote also. Also, Fisher Price. Maybe you have one of these, maybe you don't. They finally admitted that they have a defect in their sleeper after it's killed over 100 babies. It's a little swing device. They ignored safety warnings for a decade, and they only recalled after 30 had passed away. We can almost smell the lawsuits from here, can't we? The big question of today, and maybe you saw this, has been ignored, but fact is fact. When is the FBI going to raid the White House? One might ask. Well, I'll go ahead and answer that for you. Probably never. Trump leads Republican rage as they find out that, well, Biden had documents that were classified as he was vice president. Sort of had them and shouldn't have. He wants to know when they're going to raid his home like they did his. Now, let's face it, there's probably not a president alive or that served at some point in time that had a piece of paper that could be classified as. All of them have had it. Only one that I know of has had his house raided. They really didn't like him, did they? They still don't. These stories and more coming up this morning at 8 o'clock. I hope you'll join us for the morning shows. Candace will make her way here. We'll get into all of that. We're going to talk about severe weather next. We've got another round of this coming on Thursday, it looks like. We'll show you where the lines are of what's going to be worse than the other side. All that's coming up here in just a moment to keep you updated with what happens. Let's warm up with some gas logs. Here's Chuck. He's going to tell you about them.
Sanders Gas, Sanders Air and Heat is your full-service propane supplier since 1946. We take pride in ensuring reliable, friendly service to our customers. We also provide safety tune-ups related to propane, air conditioning, and heating systems, keeping our community efficient and safe. I'm Chuck Sanders, and yes, we're local.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, or conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group. We pull up a radar this morning to show you exactly what we've got. State of Mississippi looks great. We do have a lot of fog here down through Lufkin, Texas, Beaumont area. If you're going to be traveling 10 anywhere in that area, some 12 areas also across Louisiana. Be careful as you head into the Texas, eastern Texas, Houston. Boy, hate to go anywhere near around Houston, but the fog is thick this morning as we look at that. We glance over at Demopolis, Alabama, and there is, of course, dense fog advisory as we look at this. Actually, it's a freezing fog advisory. This green area, I read that wrong. As you'll look at that. Right in those areas there, a lot of fog around Tuscaloosa as we looked at earlier. But boy, that could be a problem there. As cool as it is over here. Now, the Meridian area right now, let's turn this on and look at our temperatures around the areas of what we've got this morning. The Meridian area, we're picking up 32 at Keyfield today. We're showing 31 at NAS Meridian. Even cooler at Columbus Air Force Base at 29 degrees there at the below freezing. 32 in Starkville as well as we go over to the Jackson area. A little warmer, 37 at Jackson International this morning. As we look here, 32 in Bamaland and Tuscaloosa. Chilly in those areas also. As we'll see 33 in Montgomery this morning. It's a quick look at radar of what we've got going on here. Nothing bad for us, is it? We do have more rain coming into California that has been struck hard. Lots of loss of life in that area in California here lately. All right, let's get into the forecast. Find out what the National Weather Service is here to tell us about today.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we roll back the hands of time, 1949, it was a hot day, 83. Now, I was not around in 1962, but 6 degrees, wow. Kind of cold, isn't it? Most certainly was. This is the outlook today. Somewhere between 65 to 67 will be our high as we go north through Philadelphia. About the same, a little cooler. 63 to 64 at Columbus Air Force Base. South of us, 68 to 69 in the Hattiesburg area as well. Going west over to Natchez, about the same as well. East into Bama, 65 there in Livingston and Demopolis. Cooler at Tuscaloosa, 61 at Birmingham. If you've got to go those directions, the further north you'll go, the cooler it will be. Now, let's look at this, and we'll pull up our radar here in just a second and show you this. As we look at the Meridian area, and this is going to be all of Mississippi, clocking in at a level 1 for Thursday. Now, what does that mean? Chance of isolated storms, damaging winds, hail up to quarter size, and a tornado cannot be ruled out. And it's going to be early morning to midday. So we'll call that, let's call it daylight until Thursday. 6 a.m. till noon, something like that. We'll word it that way to be ready for that. As we look at the Bama side, it's going to be a lot worse. It's a level 2 right here at the state line. It looks like directly across from us, 9-2, and then areas here around Montgomery, 11-5 is what we've got there. Now let's go back and take a look at this and pull up radar where you can get a little bit clearer picture of what's going on. Let me cut off a couple things here to where it'll be a little bit more visible and turn on this severe weather so you can see. And here's what we've got. Let's pull this up where you can see this. Again, this is Thursday. As you'll look at this, this is a level 1 for most of the Meridian area, level 2 for Alabama. Now, as you'll look at the eastern side of Meridian, Lauderdale County here, there is a chance, as you'll see here, it's encroaching there. Why Not Motorsports Park, right through the middle of the racetrack there is a level 2 for Rodney and the gang. Also, Alamooch, you're included in that level 2. And out here at the Wright-Simmons store, anything east of Dalewood and up through Kemper County, right up about to Lover's Lane and Scuba, all of this area out to Bennsville will be that level 2. Can this move? It absolutely can. Now, we're still, today's Tuesday, a couple of days away from this event. This could move a little bit more this way. We don't know. It is Mother Nature that we're dealing with, but whatever happens, we'll be here to let you know, step by step as it comes across. We're always precautious as we move into these severe weather months. We want you to be aware of it, and that's what we are. So if you're on the Bama side of things, make absolutely sure that you have a weather plan come Thursday. We want you to be prepared for what is coming. What's happening with the temperatures? We go back, and not really any change other than this hot weather. Can y'all believe that? Look at Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana. Now, there's this little itty-bitty speck of coolness in California this morning. Eventually, it'll make its way to about 10 days. As we go out and looking, as that rain moves out on Thursday, it'll be a little bit cooler Friday and Saturday into the 50s and back into the 60s after that. But there's nothing here that says it's freezing. Looks like Friday night will be our coolest when you wake up on Saturday morning, about 30. But we're not looking at any daytime lows that scare you. Look at this on the 17th as we look at the 75 degrees. Folks, this is January. Now, I would probably go as far as to expect we could have some severe weather whenever it's January and it's 75 degrees and there's rain forecasted. Bet your boots that we'll have some issues with some severe weather. We're back to the 50-degree mark here, 55, 57 around the 22nd as we wind down that month in January and start looking to February. No word yet how February will be. We've had one little cool snap this year. Nothing too major, have we? As we look at the fishing forecast this morning, Chet tells us never a bad day to go fishing. If you're going to be out and about today, a great time would be 3 o'clock this afternoon through about 5 till about dark 30 to go fishing. The wind's going to be calm, coming west, becoming southwest around 5 miles an hour. Not bad. Now, for those of you who are going deer hunting today, what is the first major time? Right there, daylight was great. Your next time will be this afternoon around 4 o'clock till after dark. So if you're going to hit it, do it then. Collinsville Meats brings us that. And again, the wind's going to be calm, 5 miles an hour or so. Not bad at all, is it? Didn't think so. One day I'm going to get to go this year. Get a little extra time. We'll head out and see what we can do. We do hope that you're having a great morning so far. Thank y'all for dropping by. We're going to get ready for the morning show with 1 hour from now. You back and join us. It all gets underway at 8 o'clock this morning. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll all learn something together. I learn something new every day from you. Couldn't do it without y'all. Thanks so much. God bless, and we'll see you soon as we'll kick into the morning show here in just a little while.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: